Okay guys, here is your next what do you need to do for your independent assignment for Wednesday, December 9th. So today's independent math assignment is all about adding and subtracting decimals. Remember, this is for review for your Unit 3 math test, which you will take next Thursday, December 17th. So remember that when you add and subtract decimals, you must first line them up by their place value. Using a place value chart is extremely helpful. And in case you have forgotten, and you shouldn't because I bring it up every single day, there is an interactive place value chart in Google Classroom right here. It's the very first one that you see. You can click on that and use it, and I'll model how to use that. And then you want to pay attention to the sign. Is it asking you to add or subtract? So many students are missing these because they're adding when they should be subtracting or subtracting when they should be adding. You need to slow down and take your time. Then write your answer. Make sure to put the decimal in the answer in the correct spot. So now I will model how to answer these. So on the test, you will see the word evaluate and then the problem. So I see 5 15/100 minus 2 86/100. So I can use a place value chart to help me with this. So you would click here to get yours. I can't open that one and write in it. If not, it's going to write over yours. So it was 5 15/100, oops, minus 2 86/100. So I could put it in here, 2 86/100. Look, I have them lined up. My hundredths with my hundredths, my tenths with my tenths, my ones with my ones. And then I could subtract on that. I prefer not to do it in this, but I do like to make sure I have my numbers lined up. So I prefer to physically write it out and do it. And when I do that, I'm going to make sure I write nice and neatly. And I make sure my digits are lined up with their correct place value. So I have the ones, the tenths, and the hundredths. I'm also going to pay attention with the fact that I am subtracting. 5 take away 6. I can't do it, so I have to regroup. I'm going to take one from the 1 and make it a 0 and give a 1 to the 5. So I don't have 5 ones, I have 15 now. 15 take away 6 is 9. 0 take away 8. Nope. You cannot do that. If you have 0, you can't take 8 away. So I have to come to the 5 and take 1 away. So now that's 4. And instead of having 0 here, I have 10. 10 take away 8 is 2. My decimal just slides down. 4 take away 2 is 2. 2 29/100. Remember, tenths, hundredths. Now I'm going to solve this one, and this one's already lined up for you. Now on the test, it's going to be on the computer. You will need to physically write these on a whiteboard to solve them or on paper. You may not just guess. Just guessing doesn't help me know what you truly know or do not know. So I would line it up, 46 16/100 plus 34 25/100. My tens are with my tens, my ones are with my ones, my decimals with my decimal, my tenths are with my tenths, my hundredths are with my hundredths. Now I can add. 6 plus 5 is 11. Put 1 down, carry my 110. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. Slide my decimal right on down. 6 plus 4 is 10. Write down my 0. carry my 1. Nope, not carry. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8. 80 and 41 hundredths. Okay, now we're going to practice some word problems. It is very important that you start looking at word problems and looking for keywords. I like to write all in my word problems. Logan drove 32 1/100th of a mile on Monday. Daniel drove 57 1300ths of a mile on Monday. What is the difference between how many miles Logan drove and how many miles Daniel drove? So I'm going to circle my numbers. It's actually called cubes. Circle your numbers. Underline the question. Box the keyword. Eliminate any additional information, and solve by showing your work. I circled my numbers. Now I can underline the question. Well, the question says, what is the difference between how many miles Logan drove and how many miles Daniel drove? I underline my question. Now I'm going to box keywords. Logan drove 32 1/100th of a mile. Daniel drove 57 1300ths of a mile. Difference between how many miles Logan drove and Daniel drove. I boxed the keywords, the words that help me solve. Difference means subtract. I'm going to put the subtraction sign there. Now I can eliminate any additional information. There's no additional information in this word problem. Additional information would be like if it said, Susie drove 13 miles. But the question didn't ask about Susie, so you could cross that out. But in this one, I don't have that example, so I can just get rid of eliminate. Now I can solve by showing my work. I know that difference means subtract. I have to subtract it. I have to start with the biggest number on top, which is 57 1300ths. Then I can subtract 32 1/100ths. 3 take away 1 is 2. 1 take away 0 is 1. Decimal down. 7 take away 2 is 5. 5 take away 3 is 2. The difference between the miles that Logan drove and Daniel drove is 25 1200ths miles. So same thing with the next one. I'm going to write cubes above it so I remember to circle my numbers, underline the question, box the keywords, eliminate any additional information, and solve by showing my work. First, I have to read it. Mary runs a half mile in 3 59 minutes. Then she runs a half mile in 4 13 minutes. How long did it take her to run a full mile? Well, I'm going to use cubes. I'm going to circle my numbers. I did that. Going to underline the question. The question says, how long did it take her to run a full mile? I'm going to box keywords. 3.59 minutes, half mile. Then half mile in 4.13 minutes. How long? Full mile. That all helps me know to add or subtract. There's nothing to eliminate here. Now I can solve. So it wants to know how long it took her to run a full mile. And I know in this mile, it was 3.59 minutes. And then this mile, it was 4.13 minutes. And I know that in order to get from the beginning to end, I have to add. And I'm adding, so it doesn't matter if the big one goes on top or the smaller one goes on top. So I'm just going to add 3 59 plus 4 13. 9 plus 3 is 12. Put down my 2, regroup my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 1 is 7. bring down my decimal. 3 plus 4 is 7. So she ran the full mile in 7 7/72 minutes. Okay, so now you get to practice. Let me show you what you're going to do. You're going to go to our Google Classroom. Doesn't want to open for me. There we go. Google Classroom and classwork. You're going to click on the assignment that says Wednesday, December 9th, Independent Math. And it says to watch this video. That's this video right here. You will click on this video. Then you will complete the Google form. This is a graded assignment. It is worth 10 points. It is due by midnight tonight, Wednesday, December 9th. So you're going to click on this and you're going to solve. First thing you need to do is write your name on that line. If you don't write your name on the line, I don't know who did it. And then you get a 0. Then you're going to solve. It is super important that you physically line it up and solve it on paper or a whiteboard. Do not just guess. So solve, pay attention to the sign, make sure you're regrouping when you need to regroup. Word problem, solve that word problem, look for those keywords that tell you to add or subtract. And then the last one, so you're going to make up your own word problem involving decimals and explain how to solve it. So this one, when you turn it in, when you hit submit, it will actually tell you you got that one wrong. It will tell you that. That's because anytime you actually type an answer, I have to go in and hand score it. So I will come in and fix your grade on that, okay? All right. Don't forget to click submit when you're done.